decision. So it may contradict the company's goals. This is my opinion.
Okay, so you are really mentioned very important point, because which is very good one, because you're saying that we need to make sure that there is no conflicting goals among the team, the groups, right? So kind of setting objectives. This is very good point to end this case with, because this is actually what we're going to discuss in the second chapter, is goal setting for effective organization. See, what we conclude is we need to unify the goals, right? We need to look at how can we set properly goals to make sure that this organization is effective and the performance is effective. And I agree with you, because this chapter 12 is about goal setting. Goal setting for seems that it's very easy to talk about, is how important to have a goal and setting the goals and make sure that everyone having the similar goal, no conflicting goals. Well, let's learn about this in this chapter, because this is one of the major points that can, a major part of the OD program is to how to set goal. And we need to know that, and that will help us to develop both organizational goals and personal goals. And we will look at what is known as MBO, is management by objective approach of system. And so for goal, there are goal setting theory. Goal setting theory is talk about goals on the organizational level or the department level, individual level, and the integration between all those levels. So we want to make sure this congruity or alignment between every level goals, organization, department, and individual. Simply, goal is anything that the individual is trying to accomplish. And some findings from previous studies about this goal setting theory, they said that difficult goals can produce better performance, but not too difficult goals, because when the goal is too hard to achieve, people will be frustrated and will abandon this goal. So it has to be challenging, but not too hard to achieve. So, and also when you give those teams specific hard goals, it's better than to tell them to do your best. Do your best is not a good strategy. But specific goals, we want to increase our revenues by 10% next year, in 1 year. So this is very clear goal, the specific goal. But okay, we want to increase our profit, simply just what is not determined how much can we increase our profit. It's not really clear. So do your best approach is not right. Participation, increase commitment to goals. So you need to engage all. You need to engage all your groups and participate to feel committed. Feedback about accomplishment, improve performance. Ongoing feedback is important because it will help improve most. Education and position in organization does not predict success. Goal setting in teams deserve special consideration. So it is important to have very smart goals, but in particular for teams, you need to give more attention to that. And of course, the support of management is really critical to achieve those goals. So difficult and specific goals are developed, as we said, do not have easy goals to achieve. Commitment to goals can be achieved by trust, by the support of the management, and we should care about the competition between employees and teams. How to overcome the resistance to goals? By providing training. You tell them to increase profits, but maybe they need kind of training to do that. Maybe you need to have incentives or rewarding system in place to encourage them or motivate them to increase their profit, the profit. Participation in the goal setting is really important, employee participation. And also the period of performance when management support and feedback is given. This is an important one. So we have this model. We have established goal first. We need to achieve commitment by engaging everyone. And we know how to overcome resistance by following the previous strategies I mentioned. Then we can have a goal. This goal will take time to achieve, which is a period of performance. And then we have the results. Based on the results, we can decide or see if we have already achieved the goal or we are lagging behind, and then we can, by the controlling process, then we can start again to adjust or adjust our objectives again to make sure that we are on the right track. So management by objective, this is a very specific techniques for setting goals, aim at integration of the individual and organizational goal. This system will help plan, organize, solve problem, and motivate staff. How? Because it will involve the participation of your subordinates along with the managers, and you are going to decide, both of you, managers and employees, going to decide on what kind of goals. Everyone has to have a clear goal, and how it works, as again, is jointly they work together to set common goals. They need to define the areas of responsibilities and use some measurement to guide in operating and assessing contribution. So the underlying purpose of MBO is to clarify organization goals, to have plans at all levels, to gain better motivation and participation for organization. There are five phases for this process, which is the phases of MBO process. Number one is to subordinate proposes. So it is, if you like, it is a bottom-up approach, not top-down, because by working with your subordinates, you're asking them to specify goals and how can we measure those goals. And then subordinates work with the manager jointly to agree upon those goals. You may think that the goal they have set is not really a good one. So we need to work with them to develop better goals. And then the third one is period of performance. The fourth is feedback based on the results, compare but what we actually achieve and what are the goals or the expected goals. This gap can either you achieve the what is expected, or you below expectation, or you above expectation. So based on those steps, then you start recycling of goal setting process again, because it is a closed loop. As you can see in figure 12.3, starting from the lower level, goals are very narrow. Then you go up to the middle level. What results from lower level determines success, and then you go up to the higher level with a group goal that are broad-based goals, and it's, as you can see, it is a closed loop or closed circuit. Now, this is simply a short introduction on the MBO. MBO is not effective, and there are so many criticisms for MBO. Can you think of few criticism for MBO? MBO simply, again, working together on a mutually agreed goals, setting those goals, perform, measure the performance, compare the results. What are the problems with MBOs? There are so many criticisms. Can you think of some?
One of the if the pure MBO process were actually supposed to start from the subordinate and they usually very
Yes.
well known about the process, so they might set easy to achieve goals, or another one is they will do whatever it takes to reach the goal. So that's two of the things I can see.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, because if you ask me to set a goal for myself, I will make sure that is the easiest goal to achieve, right? This is one thing. What else? Okay. Number one, there's a issue of cost. To implement this is expensive and time consuming. Imagine you are in a large organization maybe, and then you ask every team, every function to set their goals, and then they have a mutually agreed goal with the manager. This is one thing. And also to work jointly among unequals to set similar goals or mutually agreed goals is very difficult, because when you want to set goals with the middle managers working with the subordinates and the top managers on mutually agreed goals, it is very difficult because they are unequal, and sometimes it may not be possible at all. And they can be done, but on the managerial and professional reviews only, where cost can be justified, but cannot be done on the lower level. That's some of the criticism. And MBO may be too quantitative, and ignore an important part of assessment or performance measurement, which is the qualitative issues. Areas that cannot be quantified may be ignored. That if it is too quantitative, so there may be some other areas of performance we cannot quantify, that we cannot integrate into MBO. MBO may be implemented as top dictating top bottom. This is the opposite what we said, because MBA, if it's implemented as top dictated to bottom, so it is not a joint work. It is from top to bottom. And some OD practitioners question if MBO is OD intervention. Some still think that this is not considered OD intervention. It's totally different from what we do in OD. Well, those are the criticisms for MBO, and that's why, as a result of this, they think that MBO success cannot be measured, difficult to measure. Different approaches to MBO mean the lack of consistency. So if one company apply MBO, you will see that another company have a different approach to apply MBO. A third company has a third approach, which means this is a lack of consistency. We don't have a clear guidelines on how to do MBO, which means that we have lack of consistency. And in terms of research, research showed that there is a declining use of MBO. So it's not really getting more common and popular. Many organizations, they are not using MBO because of those issues. And again, similar like what we have mentioned before in the cooperation and competition, there are some mixed results with regard to MBO in terms of research. So research is not really conclusive about mixed reporting the same results on the beneficial use of MBO. Any questions before we jump into the case? Those two chapters are very short compared to others. You can see that it's only 20 slides and the same with the previous one. Any issues with MBOs?
Bukhari here.
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick question. Reflecting the criticism of MBO that you shared, right? I'm wondering how some of the big organization that uses MBO are also equally successful. So, for example, I know, if I'm not mistaken, companies like Hewlett Packard, Intel, I think these are some of the two big companies that still uses a bit of, MBO
MBO.
within their organization, and they seems to be quite successful in from that perspective.
Yeah, that's what we said. This we didn't say it is not successful. It is absolute failure, a complete failure. We didn't say that. We said that is for many organizations it is costly, it is time consuming, it is dictated by the top management. There's difficulty to have mutual goals whereby you have different unequal powers level, but some organization is still successful, like what you said in HB and other company. So I believe it's good to have shared and mutually agreed goals, shared vision and goals that is already agreed upon. But it does not work for every business or every company. That's why a lot of criticism is there for MBO.
Thanks, Prof.
Do you have any views on that, anyone?
Yeah, throw it out there on what Pukari asked, right? So because Hewlett Packard was one of the first company to read Peter Drucker as a consultant, and so that's why they one of the first few to adopt the MBO in the 50s or 60s, and it could be because well, I'm tutorial there that company like Hewlett Packard objectives are much more easier than rather than monetary, much more easier to measure, say compared to a service company like a hotel, perhaps just for the contrast. So perhaps they like Intel too, especially like when time Andy Grove become a CEO, they really big on productivity, quality parts, and so they also actually don't entirely use MBO. They implemented a lot of quality systems. Some of them use Six Sigma or whatever it is they go, right? So could be that the reason is much more easy to measure, quite easy to come up with a way to measure the KPI compared to some company which a bit more intangible in the sense. That's my take on that.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Tan?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes.
Today is your...
Yes.
No,
just hearing other views, trying to hear other views. I think after hearing other views, I think my take is that as long as a company can set a share goal on the top, like just now Fong had mentioned, Six Sigma, there's one share goal, so everybody need to follow. Then possible MBO can be achievable. If you allow even the lower end to have set different goals, then you go up to middle management, try to integrate the same, it's going to be difficult. So I personally view that it's only from top to bottom. Then can be successful because they only one share goal. Because share goal must come from top to bottom, not from bottom up. That means the share.
But this is completely against the core of MBO.
Correct. That's why it's completely against it. But the point is that you need to really think that why is it different? There's so many conflicts from when you bottom up.
Yeah.
Unless they have very good communications among team, very good communications, and their culture is that they're able to share views. able to work very closely together, able to give and take, then I think there's a chance of success. Or else, I think